Okay, so what do we have for you today? Well, we have the standard Sportster 883 or 1200, and although we rebuilt it all and it was all great, we then tried to start it one day, and although it was turning over, I wasn't actually firing. Now, we checked the fuel, typical things, all that was good. However, we checked the spark, and there was no spark. Why is there no spark on a Sportster? Now, there's a tricky one. I'll show you why, but unfortunately I'll have to show it in pieces because we've already stripped most of it down. I'll show you here first. So inside this cover there is the pulsar unit, which then sends the signal to the coil pack, which then causes a spark to the spark plugs. Now notice this one's currently getting worked on, so don't worry about all that crap. But anyway, inside here you've got to drill out these, and then you'll see a plate. So behind the plate you see this thing. This is actually the pulsar unit. And this little guy, which is here, this is actually attached to the end here, which then spins. And you see the gaps here? This is what causes the pulsar to tell the coil to spark the spark plugs, just as it spins. Okay? Now the problem was, if you take this panel off, or drill out the two pop rivets that are in it, you'll get into there. Now this is all off the bike at the moment, and I'll get to that in a second. I did all this ass before elbow for recording this, but hopefully you get the gist of it. Anyway, drill out the pop rivets, take that plate off. There's a plate there. Take that plate off that was sitting on there. You'll get into that bit. You'll see this guy and you'll see this. Now, problem was, when you started the starter motor, this wasn't actually spinning. The whole engine was spinning, but this wasn't. Okay, so this bit, you'll see it's keyed. There's a little hole there, a little pin, and that slots into that one. Now this wasn't actually spinning with the engine, so that means that the valves weren't opening and closing. That's bad. But good thing is the valves are already in the right position as this part was spinning, so no damage there. Anyway, that's where that fits. Okay, so we took off that panel and we got into here. Now the reason that that wasn't spinning was because, now I haven't touched this, look, see how loose that is? That was very loose, that should be Loctite on. And the annoying thing is, deep within there, that you probably can't see even with the torch, is there's a split pin, or a woodruff key, okay? And the woodruff key looks like this, or it should look like one of these. Now these are genuine Harley ones, so there you go, that's what it should look like. And that is what locks this wheel onto this shaft. This shaft was spinning, this wasn't, they weren't. All this needs time together. That's bad. But as I say, no damage to the engine, luckily. What we're going to do is take off this, but we need to take off the oil pump first, which is this one. Then take off, slide this one out, slide all these out, and they just slide out. But if you look really closely, you'll see all the timing marks. So we've got to get all the timing marks. Now they're off to hell, timing marks just now, because I've pulled them out like willy-nilly. But as you look in there, the timing mark is actually set at top dead center on number 1. If you had 2 in there, it would be top dead center on number 2. So look for that. And the way that you get into that one, on this bike in particular, is remove that from in there. And then you could get to see which one you're at TDC on. So, we'll continue, we'll take off the oil pump, we'll strip all this out, we'll put those new woodruff key back in. This woodruff key from Harley, as you see. And we will lock this on, torque it up, but we'll also use some Loctite on it as well to make sure it doesn't come off again. Anyway, catch you later. So as you could see, in here, this bit snapped off, as you can see for the light. And that one controls the front sprocket, and that one controls the back sprocket. So, since this had sheared, it no longer spun. So you can see here the difference between the new one and the old knackered one. Whole section's missing. So the new one's going back on. New one back on, as you can see. That's the new shiny bit inside there. I can't believe how Harley would only leave that little bit to hold something so important onto the shaft. Right, so all the gears are back in place. Using the time marks, as you can see here. These two up here, that slash and that dot, and that slash and that dot. And as you see, they're all correctly timed. Okay, so engine completely rebuilt again now. Everything back on. Let's see, it'll fire up. And 3.
Welcome to the Cyclone C11 alarm system.
3, 2, 1.